Welcome back to G-Ball Vision, everyone. Thank you for stopping in today. I have an exciting unboxing to dig into for you. Before we get started, double check and make sure you are subscribed here to the channel. I'd love to have you hit that thumbs up button. It really helps push the video out there so more people have a chance to check it out. Let me know what you're carrying in your pockets today down in the comments. Love hearing from you and what you are carrying for the day. Thank you to Real Steel for sending this in for us to take a look at. This is one of their new offerings called the Valore. V-A-L-O-R-E. So let's see what we have. The name sounds familiar, but I see so many knives it's hard to keep track anymore. And oh, yes. So I'll tell everyone, you know, Real Steel has done a phenomenal job this year, just catering to all kinds of different price points, different locking mechanisms, just all kinds of different stuff. They've even come up with a full G10 slip joint, double detent knives. I mean, they're just doing a little bit of everything. They're producing some fantastic, affordable, budget style knives like the Valore here. We have a nice drop point blade. It's got a black wash finish to it. And I believe Nitro V will be the steel there, as you can see. And then this one's purple G10 with some brass accented hardware. Looks really good, as a matter of fact. You have two tooled screws here, torque screws. And then these are both pinned on this side. I'm surprised they didn't flip that around and put the pins on this side, but maybe I'm not seeing something here. Now, we do have a deep carry clip. It's been recessed. This is not going to be reversible just because of the placement of that clip, I'm guessing. But typically, Real Steel always does a reversible clip, but this one is going to be one that we aren't going to be able to do so. Nice sleek handle here. This is going to be more in that mid-size range. We're looking at a just shy 3 3/16 inch blade, 3 inches strong on the cutting edge. And then we're coming down there around 7.5. So it's not a small knife by any stretch of the imagination, but I'd say it sits right in that middle area. 7.5 to 8 is a lot of people's, that's their hot spot. And I see why. It's a good size. You can still get a nice grip on a knife like this, on this size, and there's plenty of edge there, plenty of blade length to get the job done when we're talking about a folding knife. Let's check this thing in the pocket, and then we'll cover a few other things on this knife. It's going to carry nice and deep. You'll see a tiny tidbit of the knife there poking out, about 1/8 of an inch, maybe less, but that's going to carry pretty deep, and it does have good retention. And because of the texturing done on the G10, that is going to add some extra grippage, extra retention. We have some nice fine jimping here on the spine of the blade. And one thing is for sure, there's good access to that liner. It's not chamfered here on the show side, but it is chamfered on the liner here. I don't know if we can pick that up. You can see the inner side of the scale and liner have been chamfered, and then the liner itself has been chamfered and jimped. So there's plenty of room to get in there and move that thing over. So that's a good way and a nice way to not recess or chamfer this show side scale, but still give plenty of access to that liner. You can come in from the side very easily or just come in from the face there. This is going to be a flipper only, but whew, that flipping action is money. Now, I don't know, but this feels like We won't know till we get it apart, but it sure feels like washers. Boy, I can't tell. It sure looks like... No, that might be bearings. So that might be just extremely tight tolerances. It is centered up nicely. And I mean, it thwacks out of there. The detent is really nice on this. Yeah, maybe it just needs some break-in. For whatever reason, it just felt like it was on washers, but I could definitely be wrong. It might be just dry, tight tolerances, coated blade, coated liner, and that would cause it to kind of feel like it's on washers. And there might not be any lubrication in there either. This is a nice one here. At this point, they have so many good and different affordable knives that it's awesome. They have so many good ones, and they come just like this right out of the box, nice and sharp. That thing has a screamer on it. Woo, baby. I felt it dig into my nail when I first pulled the paper out. Look at that. Yeah, that's got a nice edge on it. Whew. Going to be a pokey bugger as well. You have that very acute drop point, and then that very casual, almost got myself again, that very casual belly all the way up to the tip. Going to be great for puncturing and slicing. And that's a good blade shape for a lot of different tasks. Drop points are one of the most well-rounded, if not the most well-rounded blade shapes there is. Now, the next question is going to be, how is that lock holding up? We are looking at, I would say that's like 55% or so on that lock. And there's no detent lash that I could feel. As far as pivot lash, there's no pivot lashing in there. We'll do a soft open and check. There's no up and down play on a side, and no side to side play on a soft open. And it is nice and locked up. Yeah, this will be a good and big hit for real steel right here. This is if you like flipper knives, this is going to be really, really good. I think these will probably come in around 50, 60 bucks, probably, I'm going to guess. Nitro V G10, extremely solid build. And on this rare occasion, we have a flow-through construction here. A lot of times from real steel, we'll see that taco integral frame, and that gives you basically a full-length backspacer. But in this case, we do have open construction here, so a little bit different than we typically see from real steel. But I have been all year long praising and shouting real steel's name from the rooftops, because I have the ability to admit when I'm wrong, or when I overlook things. And in the case of me personally, everyone has companies that they just overlook, or they don't know about, whatever. It happens to everyone. But specifically for me, real steel and another company, Off Grid Knives, really I overlooked often. It's just that I would always go to something else because I, just didn't know what to expect, because you don't hear much about certain companies. And boy, was I absolutely wrong for overlooking Real Steel and a few other select companies, because Real Steel offers a good bang for the money, and they have really good customer service. They are really pushing the envelope over there with a lot of different stuff. Button, actuated frame locks, all G10 slip joints with a G10 backspacer and pocket clip. They're just doing a lot of different stuff, and they're doing it very well. I have yet to get a Real Steel out of the box that had a dull or subpar edge. They always come really well, fit and finish wise. Lockup is always true and solid. I mean, they just nail it. Now, that's not to say they don't have some doozies here and there, I'm sure. With the amount of knives that these companies are putting out, they're bound to have some knives that get out that maybe shouldn't have, right? Quality control can only get and catch so many, but in my opinion, Real Steel has some of the best quality control, and they're actually checking their locks, making sure they're staying locked up. They're checking their edges, making sure they're sharp. That way, when you get it, you know, it's sharp, it's safe, it's holding up, it's strong. They're doing a very good job. You guys will have to let me know. Do you have any experience with Real Steel? And if you do, what knife or knives do you have from them? And are you currently looking at any Real Steels to snag? I love hearing from you guys, especially on these newer knives. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. I always appreciate that, everyone. If you're new here, well, I'd love to have you here. Hit that subscribe button, ring the little bell. I'm going to put up a couple of new videos. Go check one of them out for me. Have yourself an awesome day. Thank you all again for being here and watching. I will catch you on the next one.